What's up, everybody? This is Hainsey's Cave Talk MMA Hour with James Boogie Perdue. What's up, James?
What's happening, man?
You ready to do this, man? Our once a month get together for this?
Let's get it.
Yeah. UFC kind of been quiet a little bit the last couple weeks, but we're starting to ramp up. We just had a couple fight nights, but we got a big one ahead of us Saturday night.
It's going to be... we'll get a lot to get into. I don't want to get into it too early, but it's going to be... There's a lot of good fights, so... Let's get it going.
Yeah. And I actually have a buddy of mine that's down in Miami right now. He ran into the vice president of operations. His name is slipping my mind right now. Took a picture with him, but he's at the press conference right now. His tickets, dude, $1,100 a piece, and he's in peanut heaven.
Where's it at again?
It's in Miami.
Oh, because they haven't been in a while. That's why.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a big card, hot, a big city. But I was like, good God, I couldn't. There's no way I could swing that, man. But all power to him, man. That's awesome.
Cleveland was enough for us, and it was still. I mean, how it didn't break the back.
Speaking of that, I was talking to some guys at work. One of my buddies, in particular, Bob Reeves, he was talking about, hey, when do you think UFC is going to be back in town? Because it's been a while. And I'm like, I don't know if Pittsburgh's ever going to get it again. But we might be able to get Cleveland back. I don't know.
Yeah, Pittsburgh was a disaster. Maybe it was early, but it's hard to tell. Pittsburgh was so bad. The way they had it set up, the commission, Pittsburgh, remember the Pennsylvania commission?
Yeah, Pennsylvania commission was,
that was so terrible. I mean, they had to jump through so many hoops. And that's pre-COVID and all that. I mean, that was a long time
and
ago.
that's why you don't see them going to Philly. You don't, I mean, they
Philly
try
once in a while, but I mean, that's because Philly and Pittsburgh's different cities.
Yeah,
so
right.
Philly's going to get a lot of New York crowd, New Jersey.
But the athletic commission, Pennsylvania, is just still a headache. You know,
miserable. I can't believe. I don't think they'll ever be back.
Yeah,
I wouldn't come back with it.
I mean, there for a while, Ohio was a hotbed for UFC's early days. They was hitting Columbus. It seemed like yearly, but it's kind of slowed. It's been like going on maybe 3 years.
When was the last one? It was in Columbus.
I was at it, and it might have been 2023.
Yeah, it was a couple years.
Yeah.
Because I had, if you remember, I had tickets to that. If you remember,
Yes.
And then
I remember you telling me.
First year of COVID, I told you they closed the hockey game down. I told you it's over. My boss goes, "Oh, listen, it's done. They canceled hockey. There's no chance they're going to have any UFC."
Yeah.
And then we just got the money back. We didn't worry about it, but I mean, the card was okay.
So last month we did a segment on the show where we kind of highlighted a UFC fighter, and we went on to Facebook land, and my cousin Jeremiah, he wanted us to speak about Cody Garbrandt, so we did a whole spiel on him. This month, I kind of wanted to pick out. I didn't want to ask anybody. I wanted to do a little bit of talking about Cain Velasquez, because that's somebody that, in my opinion, is the all-time GOAT in the heavyweight conversation. And I just got a ton of respect for him. What do you think?
Yeah, in his prime, what happened? I mean, actually, the only loss he really had was from at Mexico City at the altitude. Yeah. He trains at altitude in Arizona, but I mean,
not like that.
No,
It
was horrible. But I mean, then the personal things that came up in his life, which we'll get into, like you said, same thing. You or I would have done the same exact thing. Yeah. And so, our names aren't Cain Velasquez.
But, like, he was kind of an undersized heavyweight. He was around 230, 240. Wasn't the tallest, but he was the first heavyweight that would put a pace on somebody and could go for 5-minute rounds, nonstop, and he would just wear guys out.
Solid wrestler, the All-American wrestler, really tough. And you keep that pace up at that weight, you're going to wear the people down.
Yeah, I think I looked it up this week to see what his wrestling credentials was, because I knew he was All-American, but I didn't know if he ever won a national championship. But he only placed like 4th or 5th in nationals, but he was a 2-time Pac-12 champ, or Pac-10 champ. Yeah. He was a 2-time All-American. He was a great wrestler, and that's what he was known for, and he became a striker.
The pace is what, I mean, and if he had it down to a science to where he would wear you out, then by the time he could catch you because you're worried about the takedowns, your hands lower down to stop the takedown. He'd come over the top overhand right. So,
oh, yeah. There was a ton of times that, no, he's not going to knock him out. You know what I mean? And then bam. I forget what I had it. I didn't have him write down. Oh, he started off his career 13-1. I was trying to think what he was, because he ended up 17-3. All 3 losses to heavyweight champs. Yep. Francis Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, and like you said, in Mexico City against Fabricio Verdum, that he was exhausted. In the third round, he couldn't fight.
Yeah.
And I think he got guillotined, but he was just tired. He was exhausted.
He couldn't lift his hands up. It was bad. For somebody that sets the pace, I think he was sick too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It was illness plus that altitude of Mexico City is just, you're talking Colorado altitude almost. So if you don't train at that all the time, it's going to be hard to
Right. Yeah, they said he was there. I think he got there a little under 2 weeks before the fight, but Fabricio Verdum was there for months, and he was just,
almost moved there, I think.
Which that's what you have to do, honestly. I mean, we seen a couple weeks ago they were in Mexico. Joe Pfeiffer got sick, and he doesn't know if it was food poisoning or if it's something to do with. And he said he'll never go back down there because he went like 2 months early, so he was in shape. Missed out on all that pay, and he didn't get paid. He had to pay all his coaches. He said it ain't worth it going down there.
Huge for him. That's a big. A lot of people don't know that. Like, these fighters pay their cornermen, they pay their coaches, they pay their gym, they pay nutritionists. There's a lot you see, but they don't make, compared to boxing, how much money a boxer makes per fight.
Right.
And you got to think the UFC guys who, a lot of them, they're in gyms like that to where they kind of pull in their money, like American Top Teams, things like that.
Yeah.
But they have to pay. That's all coming out of their pocket personally. And it's not like they don't just, hey, we'll be your trainer. I mean, they got to get nutritionists, keep your diet down. Somebody to take care of the gym. You got a striking coach, a wrestling coach. Everybody gets paid. And you see, he made $50,000.
Strength and conditioning. I mean, and then you've got guys that, if you want to bring in a specialist, you have teammates that will train with you for free because you're going to help them, they're going to help you. But what if you've got a striking match and you're not really a striker? You want to go get a world-class kickboxer. That dude's not coming for free. You know, I mean, and that's just a lot of money.
Look how much, a lot of the taller fighters, I can't remember who it was exactly, but they had to bring in specific people to fight the height because there's no one in the gym that tall that he could strike with.
Right.
And like I said, they pay him a lot of money to come in. So this guy gets to pay to get trained, and teach his skills to another. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are reciprocal.
Like just bringing up John Jones, for instance, his last fight was Stipe. I know he brought in Gabriel Stevenson, all national wrestler, which that was crazy story on its own. But I mean, he didn't come for free, and he brought a world class striker in as well. So like, he's probably got a couple $100,000 wrapped up in Gordon Ryan with the jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I mean, he brought in an all-star camp that he probably put in $100K just to get prepared.
Easy, easy, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, then a lot of times you're paying him, but then again, you're training with John Jones. For as much as we don't like him, he's doing something right. Right, absolutely. He's a winner. He's a garbage human being. We both agree. Yep. But the man can fight. The man knows how.
IQ is through the roof, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's the fight IQ. He knows not to get hit. I mean, he's just a different breed. As much as we don't like him, you got to respect what he's done.
Okay, so to get back on the Cain Velasquez train, I'm just going to read his accolades as a UFC fighter. He was a 2-time heavyweight champ, 3 times knockout of the night, 2010 Fighter of the Year, and then we already listed his wrestling credentials. But like you said before, the guys that he's lost to were the cream of the crop. The one fight, I'm a huge fan of Junior Dos Santos, always have been. Okay, he clipped Cain Velasquez in the first minute. Okay, knocked him out. Cain Velasquez gets his rematch, absolutely abuses him for 5 rounds.
Destroyed him.
Should have been stopped 3 or 4 times. I mean, just
that took years off Junior's life. I'm telling you, because he beat him to the pulp.
Yeah, and then a year or 2 later, they had a third fight, and he beat him to a bloody pulp again, and knocked him out in the 5th round. I think the first fight he won like 6-0 or 7-0 on the scorecards in a 5-round fight. He just put on a pace, man. He was tough.
I just remember his face looked like hamburger. I mean, he got beat to death. I mean, I felt like the corner should have stopped it. I mean, the shoot of boxing, he trains down there in Brazil. But you have to, like, hey, save your man some mileage because he got beat mercilessly he had no chance ever going to win that fight. Yeah, let's go to another. Let's save our time here.
I mean, when he was healthy and in his prime, there wasn't a heavyweight that could touch him. He abused Brock Lesnar. Abused him.
And national champion Brock Lesnar.
Abused him. The fight he lost to Fabricio Verdum, I think that's his last UFC fight. He hasn't fought since. He was battling with 2 injuries. He was battling with injuries for years. Had a long layoff. Probably shouldn't have fought again, but the guy wanted to get back, and he lost. You know what I mean? He lost. Yeah.
So you want to get into his personal, the demons?
Well, go ahead and tell him. It's February 28th. 2022. You go ahead and tell the story.
So, from what I didn't read up on it, but from what I can remember is his son, I think it was his son,
Yep.
there was a man who was sexually assaulting his son and was getting away with it. Like, and he knew, like, hey, yeah, Dad, this guy is touching me. And he snapped. He was a dad. We talked about it. He did the same thing. But instead of just going and beating the guy to death, he grabs a gun, chases him down, has a shootout, a passenger in the car, and he shoots the passenger. He shot
It was his stepdad in the shoulder. Yep.
So they were shot, but imagine that on the news, you see people like Grand Theft Auto. He's driving, they're hanging out of the door, shooting out of the window at the guy.
Yep. Looks like a thug.
He snapped.
Yep.
And he went to.
So
the punishment.
The long story of it, like Boogie said, the son, his parents owned the child care, the daycare that his son was at. He got convicted, okay, and by some reason the charges got dropped or it was nullified somehow. So the guy was supposed to be in prison and was walking the streets. And Cain Velasquez happened to run into him, and that's where he snapped. Chased him for 11 miles, and that's where, like you said, like he knocked him off the road, but instead of beating him to death, he just pulled up to the car, missed, and shot the wrong guy, and now he's 5 years in prison.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he's not in his prime though, but I'm telling you, he could have still, these 5 years he's been in prison, he could have still. I'm glad to see that. Who was signing for the bare knuckle? Was it bare knuckle they're signing for? Was the
I don't know. He was he did some wrestling while he was out on bail.
Yeah.
Because he got he's going to be released next March, but what happened with all the charges and everything? He got 5 years. He's already spent almost 4 years. They actually granted him bail, $1 million bail, which got placed immediately.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt if it was Dana White himself paying that. He was such a good citizen that they even let him go work in these Mexican wrestling. He could take his ankle monitor off. Yeah, and all he had to do was check in. He could coach guys. Like, they know that legally he has to pay
You can't, I mean, as much as, and we understand, as fathers, we both understand what the punishment's going to be. It is worth it if somebody would have touched one of our kids.
Absolutely.
And get away with it. And there is no, if I had his skills to fight, it'd have been more satisfying just to beat him to death. But, to shoot like that, and you got the passenger, his stepdad or something. Yeah. He got caught up in a wrong deal.
And put the judge in a hard place, because they're saying he was reckless, okay? Yeah. He put the public in danger. That was the biggest part. They were not trying to stick up for that guy. Yeah,
there was they could have. The good thing, there was no accident where there was no stray bullets got anybody hit, or in the car chase somebody got into an accident. But it was Grand Theft Auto, chasing him down, shooting out of the window. It was not a good scene. You just can't. You've got to pay some type of price for that. But you and I both agree. I'm paying that price. You better believe it.
Yeah, and thank the good Lord that he's only getting 5 years, because the good guy is coming out of jail. He's not getting life, you know. And he even said no plea deal. He just he admitted his sin. He said, I'm doing what I'm not going to fight it. It is what it is. I'm manning up. I'll take responsibility. And man, I have a lot of respect for him.
He could have probably got a shyster lawyer and fought it maybe, but. It's just it's what a stand-up guy is. It's like, hey, do the crime, do the time.
Yeah.
And he was, And
you had all the UFC fighters. Cormier went to bat for him for months. All these guys, there was like 22 letters that was written to try to get him, because they wouldn't give him bail. They said he was a scary individual. And they had people writing saying how good of a person he was and is. And he got out. And thank God, next year, in March, he's going to be set free, and I guarantee you there will be a movie made about him.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's the game bred, I think, bare knuckle, either the boxing or game bred.
And he's going to be boxing. In the
MMA? He's already signed. When he gets out, he's already signed to a fight. I'm almost positive it's game bred, but I'm not 100%. But he definitely has something signed.
Well, after he lost in 2019, he went to professional wrestling, went into the WWE, never really made it. Like, he's only had a couple appearances, but COVID hit. And one of the people that they could cut budget quick was somebody that was getting made a lot of money, and they didn't have time to build him yet. So he got cut. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him another shot if they let the story of this kind of die down a little bit. Or they might build it. I don't know.
There's going to be, you're still going to have people who, on the other side, won't get into politics, but there's always somebody going to have a different angle. Like, but what could have happened, and we both agree, I mean, the damage could have happened.
Yes.
You can't say, hey, no, good job. I mean, we'll just turn our head. Don't worry about it.
How many times have we seen that something, not that story in particular, but somebody walking down the street accidentally and gets shot, and they weren't even an intended target and die. You know what I mean?
That's the potential could have been there. I get it.
Yeah, and I don't want to desensitize that. I have so much respect because we put ourselves in his shoes.
Oh, 100%. I would have done the same exact thing. So if I had his skill set, I would just enjoyed it more just to physically put just to see choke the life out of him, as get how graphic you want to get, but see his eyeballs bulge out and making me like, this is what you touch these little kids. And
and kind of make an example out of him,
I could have, and I mean, I would have probably did more than 5 years, but I mean,
hey, you got to give him.
Yeah,
I mean, some people might not agree with it. You and I we got a lot of respect for him because as a dad, I would have did the same thing.
And he could have made, and he was still not in his prime, but he was still a chance to make a lot of money. He would have won some fights. He was never going to be champ again. Father Time was undefeated, but except for John Jones. But
with Father Time might catch up to him. We may never see it. He might get out before.
He's gonna. Do you still think he's going to duck and run? I don't want to get off.
I don't know. We'll. You want? I mean, we could talk about that real quick, and before we get into UFC 314, I wanted to ask you. You and I, we really didn't talk too much before tonight. Just text message of what topics we wanted to hit, but I wanted some genuineness and not have this pre-planned. But I wanted to ask you. Do you think we're ever going to see John Jones again? Because I'm starting to teeter that we might not see him, man.
Boy, he's so grimy. It's hard to tell. I mean, he's a genius at this. He'll string it along, and he knows that fight is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And Dana White is going to pay him.
He's hungry. Dana White's hungry for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, and I mean, he knows it's the last fight. Does he want to go out with a loss? Because I mean, I don't know if we were split on who's going to, if you think that Aspinall could get him or not.
I don't know. I don't want to ever bet against John Jones. But when you look at it, the odds, I bet you they're going to be a coin flip. I bet you they are. Because
at least.
Aspinall's bigger, stronger, faster. I mean.
And his only loss was when he blew his AC out. He never lost an actual fight. Sort of like Jones never lost a fight. I mean,
but the head games that Jones put in, Aspinall was chomping at the bit for this fight. And how long can you stay driven? And when John Jones says, I'm going to need at least a year to prepare, or 10 months after we sign the contract, he's just messing with the kid's head, man.
He knows because he's chomping. He knows the kid's going to be dangerous. But, I mean, a lot of people think, Jones has just got everybody's number for some reason.
So, all the big names are kind of lined up here in the next few months, except for two. Islam Makhachev and John Jones. There's a big fight coming up in June 28th, UFC 317. It's International Fight Week. I assume Islam would be the main event, but I think if John Jones isn't named by then, we're not going to see it this year because they're going to build this fight as a tour and try to get. They're not going to say 2 months they're fighting.
With Connor when Jose Aldo, where
they went
had
to
the tour. And they went all over the country, and so he could play that out to get as much money as he can.
Yeah, because they're going to spend a lot of money to get John Jones in the cage to fight him.
He's going to make. International Fight Week is the time. If not, it's going to be the end of the year card.
Which that's why I said if they're smart, Islam is a safer bet to put on that card. No matter who he fights, it'll draw. But the Thursday before, they always have a presser. He can announce it then where a lot of eyes are on the sport, and then that gives them 6 months to like Boogie said.
News.
Yeah, like Boogie said, December's a big one for them. They try to hit with the New Year's, and maybe we'll see it then. I don't know.
International Fight Week is probably the way to go, but the way things are trending, I don't think we're going to see it.
No, I think we would need a little. I don't think they're going to want to promo that fight a lot.
They're going to have to. It'll be at least, I would say, 3 months in advance.
I, as a MMA fan and a huge UFC fan, I would feel robbed if we don't get that fight because I want to see it bad.
And he knows that. That's why John Jones is going to make so much. If this does come to fruition, John Jones is going to make so much money because me and you are, we're above, we'll say the average fan, but you met everybody in the world feel just the way we do. We've got to see this fight. We've got to see this fight. We're going to have in Las Vegas, or hey, maybe do another Sphere type deal if we could get him in there.
Right.
We're talking huge.
And the thing with the UFC right now, as big as a fan as I am, they're kind of lacking the star power. They have some good names, they have some good fighters, but they don't have the Conor McGregor, the Ronda Rousey, the John Jones.
Yeah.
They just don't have those guys that they can just say, no matter who they're fighting, we're going to watch it, Yeah, so they need it. They need it.
We're losing. There's a lot. If you look about it, United States, we're lacking a lot of the championship belts too.
Yeah.
You think Islam is Dagestan?
Well, the Russians are starting to win. Yeah.
So they have that. Jones is.
Figure Marab, Ankalaev, they're all Georgian, but he's got, that's still a small, right.
Georgia's right. They're all in the same area, Black Sea.
But they're all around the same. But we don't have, like you said, we don't have any guys.
There's
we had
no
them.
Americans. Yeah. John Jones is the one that would make everybody's eyeballs come to the fight.
Yeah.
John Jones is going to turn the heads, or he's going to get the money. And that's what they're lacking right now. Poirier's got one more fight. It's going to be against Islam. Again, that's going to be a huge fight, whoever he fights.
Yeah. So we're going to transition. We're going to talk about UFC 314 in Miami. Before we do that, real briefly, I want to give you a pat on your back. I want to give me a pat on the back. Because last time we were in this cave, we broke down UFC 313 and we had a master class of the main event, and Ankalaev did exactly what we thought he was going to do, grind it out, and he was a booing match, but he won. He got the belt.
Hey, there's two people. The people that boo. There's another guy in the ring. If you don't want to wrestle, if you don't want to play that game, do something about it. That's where
he shut Alex Pereira down,
and he did everything. There's a book already on. You can't get caught, but he can knock anybody out. But you stay in his face. You keep him.
You back him up
on the cage, and he doesn't have a chance to go forward to you, and you just don't get caught with that counter left. Is the biggest thing you have to look for.
The thing that surprised me most about that fight was Ankalaev was waves faster, man. He was so fast. His striking, he outstruck him the whole fight, and he didn't get the takedowns. But what he did was he wore on him, and he dirty boxed him. And congratulations to him, man. UFC hated that, but
it is. Like I said, there's two people that there's only one person that can stop at. Supposedly the baddest man on the planet, and he got shut down. And now they're crying about he had injury. I paid the Tito Ortiz. I hate hearing. I should have.
You know what? That was the one thing that really bobothered me about that. Is the way he came out. And
everybody's hurt. Just the playoff hockey. There's not one playoff hockey player to transition sport, but not one player is 100%. Somebody's hurt. There's something, bro. There's something tweaked. Everybody is hurt this time of the year. Everybody goes through a camp for pay-per-view. You're going to have dings. You're going to have type injuries. Back out. If you feel that unconfident, unsure, back out of the fight. Yeah. Hey, I got to get healthy. I got to go. UFC don't like it, whatever. But you have the time to prepare yourself to position yourself to win. Right. Not after you lose. Oh well, I had this and this my knee and this. I'm the Tito Ortiz.
And I will praise Alex Pereira because he always came to the UFC's aid when it came to when they needed a fight.
Yeah.
But he was winning. Now we see him lose. And here comes
Tito Ortiz. I hate his guts because every time he loses, I had a fractured skull, my vertebrae were fused,
my neck.
Like 5 minutes ago, you were getting ready to kill people. Now your neck was broke. What a kind of shut up.
Yeah, and we could go off on a rant one day about Tito Ortiz.
That's a 2-hour show.
But back on track. UFC 314. Alex Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, the main event for the vacant featherweight championship because Ilia Topuria moved up in weight class. As we talk about this fight card, we're going to leave the main event for last. But the main card is absolutely dynamic. Yeah. I think every fight on that card could be the fight of the night. Yeah. I really do believe that.
Pick 'em odds. I can't pick one specific person. They got a clear away winner. That's going to be on paper, they should be excellent fights. And the betting, it should be the main event, the whole main card.
Yes. So a lot of times when we watch these fights, the prelims come on and they absolutely steal a show, and there's fireworks, and you get fired up for the main card, and you see a bunch of decisions. This card, what I see, there's some big names on the prelims.
Yeah.
Verna Generoba versus that Jean. Jim Miller's on the prelims. There's some good fights, but I think the main card is 5 fights, and like I said, they can all be. Yeah. So first fight, Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. Krylov 30-9, Reyes 13-4. Reyes coming off back-to-back knockouts, having 3 knockouts or losses in a row. Krylov coming off a 2-year layoff, but he brings the heat. Where you see that fight going, man?
I like Krylov myself. I mean, I think whenever Reyes lost to Jones, that took his soul, and ever since that loss that he should have won, you get 50-50 on who won or lost, but he lost the decision.
Dominic Reyes won that fight.
So he won the fight, and I think that took his soul. He was just done. He knew he won that fight in his heart, and they took it from him, and he was never the same since then.
Well, he had a bad loss, Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I mean, he put sleep.
Yeah, and then Yuri Prochazka, I thought almost killed him with that spinning elbow.
Goodness.
And he fell on his face, and I was like, man, that's the...
It was like a sniper.
And Dominic Reyes, and he took 3 straight. And then when he lost, I think, Ryan Spann, that was a bad knockout loss for him, and I was like, he's never coming back.
It was, I mean, but like the same way we talked about...
on this show?
Nah, we start off. What's his name?
Oh, Cain Velasquez?
Yeah, so Reyes lost it. No, don't get it wrong. He lost to good names.
Yeah.
These are former champs that he lost to, but he's just not. I don't think his brain or his soul was into it anymore.
He's so chinny still.
Yeah,
I mean, he really is.
He's got good footwork. He's got very good boxing, decent wrestling. But he takes too many shots.
Yeah.
And Krylov is just a monster.
The thing about Krylov and why the main reason I said this fight, of all fights, every fight could be the fight of the night, but this fight, Krylov is coming.
Yeah,
as soon as it starts, he's coming. He blocks punches with his face, but he has a chin. Reyes throws sniper shots and has glass. Somebody's getting knocked out.
He's got to stay away from him. I mean, I think he has to. He's not going to knock Krylov off with one shot. He's going to have to piece him up a couple and not take the big shot.
But he's going to have to go through fire because he's not going to be able to one-shot him. He's going to have to counter.
He's going to have to 2 or 3, and he's going to have to take a couple from Krylov because he's coming. There's no way around it. He's coming at him. He's going to. That's why I don't think he.
Krylov's one of those guys a lot of people don't know about. But he's a gas pedal to the floor.
I mean, like you said, I'm going to see a wall. I'm going to go straight through it. I don't care how many walls.
Yeah.
I'm going straight through it, my face, and I'm going to block whatever I have to. And he just doesn't care.
So, I'm at odds with this fight because I agree with Boogie when it comes to he sees Krylov coming up. My heart wants Dominic Reyes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pulling for Dominic Reyes Saturday night.
Personally, 100%.
I'm going to be holding my breath the whole time, and I'm not putting any money on it.
I don't want to, but I mean, I'm Reyes, don't get it wrong. I'm backing him. As a fan, I want him to win, but I understand that one shot from Krylov can put him to sleep, and he has shown he can go to sleep with one shot. And I mean, the chin has an expiration date.
The one thing I think Reyes has is the recently success. He's won 2 fights in a row, knockout. And Krylov hasn't fought in 2 years, but I don't think the rust is really going to affect him when he just goes for the fight. Like, he's not going to get time to get warmed up.
Yeah, how much does he? I'm sure there's a training, of course, but he's a professional athlete. But how much does he? He's just like almost like a bar brawler. He shows up. Who do I have to kill? This guy? Okay, I'm coming, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
And if Reyes can keep him at space and move away, counter enough to where he can break him down a little bit, maybe he can get him in the late second, early third, but. If Krylov doesn't hit him before then, but
I see. If I had to make a bet on the fight, I would bet the fight would end under a round and a half because one, Reyes is either going to get knocked out clean, or Krylov's going to come crazy in a long layoff. He will gas a little bit quicker, and Reyes could knock him out. I could see under a round and a half. Either way, but I can't pick a side. And if I had to, I'd pick Krylov.
I wouldn't put money on it. I'd probably bet Krylov by knockout if I had to. But I would steer clear of that all myself.
So the next fight, Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull Ferreira. 37-year-old Pitbull coming to the UFC. I think it's like 6 years too late.
Way at least.
Yair Rodriguez is huge compared to him. But Patricio Pitbull has some knockout power, man. It should make for an interesting bout.
I think he gets knocked out.
You think he gets knocked out?
Because of the striking.
The length is...
Yeah, he can't get in there. I mean, you see he does the capoeira kicks and all kinds of other shit. I mean, he's amazing. He's just a great striker. And Pitbull is good, but how good has he tested himself against?
I could see if there's one snooze fest of the main card, I could see this being the one. Here's the reason why. Yair Rodriguez, clean striker. Pitbull, counter striker, likes to brawl.
Yeah.
Rodriguez is going to be safe at first, I think, because
Yeah.
that power's still there. I could see him jabbing, teeth kicking, just being, but the length of Rodriguez should just pound him. Man.
And he's not going. I don't think even when Pitbull gets in close enough, is Rodriguez going to be there because how quick he is on his feet. And he, like I said, the counter is going to be that. I don't see Pitbull making it myself. There's going to
be a lot of jitters for him, even though he's 37. He's finally in the UFC. He was a big Bellator, fighter,
2 or 3 time champ. I think. So I mean, he fought a lot of good people.
He fought Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
he fought some guys.
But again, Chandler came in and he's not a champion here yet.
Yeah,
and
he'll never be.
He lost that, so I don't think Pitbull. I mean, they were good Bellator fights.
Yeah,
I mean, Rodriguez is just. He's a ballerina.
The guys that he's lost to are the Volks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The top of the class, So I think Rodriguez gets it done. I think he gets it done fairly early or easily, I may add. If there's going to be one fight to go to the decision, I could see maybe this one. I could see Pitbull just never getting going. But
close enough to actually hurt
the
him.
power's the last thing that goes. And that's why we love the UFC. He could be the story come Monday because he had a devastating knockout. We don't know.
It could be, but I'm leaning Rodriguez.
Right, yeah.
If there's going to be a decision, because Rodriguez isn't going to get hurt. He knows the power's going to be there, and he knows he's long and fast enough to not get hit.
Yeah.
So he can stay, and he can just do 3 rounds and take his check and go and move on because it's a dangerous guy coming in. He got everything to prove, so... It could be a little. I mean, so he's going to be wary of that. This guy's going to make a name off of me, take his spot in the rankings. I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening as well. I think that might be the easiest path if you're going to bet somebody.
Yeah, he's going to feel it out. Rodriguez isn't going to get in trouble. He's going to keep a distance and do what he does.
And he's bigger. It ain't like he could push him around if he has to.
If he has to, but he's not. But when you get that close enough, that's where the danger comes.
That's where the problem.
So he can just stay back, teep kick, like you said. He does all the fancy kicks and spins and he can just keep him at bay the whole time. He'll do some damage and make some points, but he's not. I mean, I could see that going decision.
But I still think Rodriguez easy win for him, man. Moving on, the people's main event: Bryce Mitchell versus John Silva. Bryce Mitchell 17-2, John Silva 15-2. A flat earther against a round earther, crazy against crazy. It's gonna be. I think it's an easy win for Silva. I think he knocks him out cold.
Because, if anybody follows people on any social media, Bryce Mitchell is... now me and you lean right politically, but this kid's a nut. He is a complete flat earth,
batshit crazy.
That God has to come down and judge you, and he's on my side. Like, he is listening to him for 10 minutes. You say, whoa, this kid's... and he actually made... comments about Hitler being okay, and then
being okay. I talked about it on the show.
He had to walk about it a little bit, like but
he was like, if I could see going fishing with Hitler, like he had to kind of back off that a little bit, but he was kind of saying
not much, but he was. He's that crazy, so he's
he was kind of saying that Hitler had some points, like if you're agreeing with Hitler,
you get different, you get little problems. But I think Silva, and especially after the knockout he took.
Josh Emmett.
Yeah, Emmett put him to sleep bad. Like one of the worst knockouts I've seen in a long time. Yep. And Silva's just a maniac, and he's going to smash him quick.
And Silva has good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu, and Bryce Mitchell's game is a lay and pray and jits. And I just think he's going to get put to sleep, and the fans in Miami are going to go absolutely nuts. And Silva's name is going to go through the roof, man.
Yeah, Silva easily, I think. If that's a bet you want to make, but the odds are so big, I don't know.
You can still get Silva first round knockout, pretty good odds, and that would be. I think the path is going to be simple.
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell's rushing in and getting knocked out. I just think that's how it's going to be.
He has to try to grapple to get some type of any chance because you're not going to strike with him at all. He has to grapple and get into the.
And John Silva, coming into the UFC, he was a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
But he has the put you to sleep power, man.
That's a switch. He can put you out right now.
He's knocked out 3 guys prior to fighting him. Has never been knocked out before. There's not a lot of guys that can say that. You know,
he has whatever it is. Like I said, the switch. You turn switch. He has that to put somebody to sleep that easy, and that's. And the way Mitchell took the last knockout, there's no way he's gonna. This may put him out for good, but Dana's going to keep him around. I think just because he's a mouth and he's going to talk about the UFC, and Dana doesn't quiet anybody, is to his credit. Whatever you want to talk about, Dana's. He says, "I don't."
Yeah,
is
yeah.
He an idiot?
That's a beauty. That's a beauty. He doesn't put any restraints on his guys.
Is he an idiot? Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. But I'm not telling anybody what to say. You can say it's stupid. You do whatever you want, but.
I will say this about that fight. If Bryce Mitchell somehow catches him and knocks him out, or somehow gets a grappling exchange and catches a guillotine or something, that'll be the most surprise of the whole card to me.
Oh,
that would be an utter shock. And if it happens, it wouldn't be the first time, because that's why we love the UFC. This shit happens all the time.
That's why you don't fight on paper. That's why I said you don't play the games on paper. When I wrestled, hey, you went, okay, boy, he's ranked this, and on paper, he should kill this guy.
Yeah.
You don't fight on paper, and you don't play football on paper. You play and you fight.
Okay, so the next 2 fights, in my opinion, are both coin flip fights. Michael Chandler, 23-9 versus Paddy Pimblett. He is 18-5. For some reason, the books have Paddy Pimblett at -170. Watching both of them fight, I don't know who to pick, because I don't see any path that Paddy wins fighting Chandler, but maybe Chandler's just digressing so much and Paddy's moving up. What do you think, Bogey?
Boy, I think we're on opposite sides. I think Paddy gets it done easy.
Okay, so I'd like to hear why, because I'm kind of, he doesn't really have good wrestling in my opinion.
He has good jiu-jitsu, but he's
great jiu-jitsu,
He's not Michael Chandler wrestling, but you've seen Chandler got put to sleep too. I mean, so
Oliveira knocked him out.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying, but like wrestling, he got put to sleep by Dustin Poirier, submitted him. So his wrestling and jiu-jitsu isn't that great. And Paddy is.
He did just survive against Oliveira, but I think if Paddy gets his back, I think he would submit him. I think
Paddy is just too. He's out to make a point to say, listen, I mean, and Chandler's never going to get the Conor fight. So this is as close as you're going to get to fighting somebody from England. I think that Paddy. Now, heart-wise, and who I'm rooting for, I want Chandler to put him to sleep. I don't like him, but he is the one that's proven everybody wrong too.
I will say this about Paddy Pimblett, and I haven't made an official prediction on this fight. I've been back and forth. On both these fights. I will say this about Paddy. When I seen him come into the UFC, I said, this dude is a complete trash can. As soon as he faced somebody with some upper echelon talent, he's going to get put to sleep because he blocks punches with his face. Yeah. The Bobby Green fight was his best performance, but I don't really take anything from that. Bobby Green went for a takedown and got submitted. It looked like he took a dive.
Why would you do that? I mean, you're Bobby Green. You stand up, keep your hands down there, let him come at you and counter strike what you do. Yeah. You don't have that kind of jiu-jitsu where you're going to get, or wrestling. Yeah. Stand up and do what you do best. Don't go for a takedown.
So I think if I'd have seen 3 rounds of Paddy striking with Bobby Green and maybe seen the improvement in his stand-up, I'd have more confidence in picking Paddy. The odds makers have it for a reason, man. When you look at the fights, Michael Chandler's fought the best of the best since he's been to UFC. Hasn't had the outcomes. He's always been competitive. He usually fights 5-round fights, and he has plenty of gas. I'm really curious to see how this fight plays out, because I could see Michael Chandler knocking him out with one punch, or I would love to see if Paddy got this improvement that everybody thinks he has.
Well, you're right, like you said, Chandler. It's hard to judge because he has not had an easy fight since he came to UFC. He has fought top-notch people.
One easy fight. He front kicked Tony Ferguson's face off.
Yeah, but that was. I mean, that's.
That was his one easy fight. Yeah. But everybody else been who's who. You're right.
Yeah, so I mean, he's fought, and I mean, still, and Tony Ferguson. Look at where top we're getting to later.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he was about. I mean, it should if him and Khabib would have fought, I would still have been on Team Khabib the whole time. I know El Kakui's your guy.
No, Khabib's my all-time favorite fighter. Yeah,
because I mean, there was no way.
But you're right. He was the best of the best. And we're topic he's speaking about. We have a top 5 coming up. All-time top 5 fighters that's never won championships. He may or may not be on our list. But if we had to make a prediction of Paddy Pimblett and Michael Chandler, the stage is set for Paddy in Miami to blow the roof off. Wouldn't you think?
You have to. I mean, he has to. He cannot go with a 3-round. Let's lay and pray and get a decision. And Chandler's not going to fight that type of fight. So
no, Chandler.
It's going to be.
Chandler could lose 7 or 8 in a row. He's never getting cut because he brings the show, man.
Every time, win or lose, he looks into the crowd. He says, "Are you not entertained?"
Yes.
And anybody that watches fight, you can't say, "Nah, it was a boring fight."
No.
Everyone, because he comes in, blocks his face, and he throws whatever he got in his little 5'5".
Everything's explosive,
and he's coming. Always.
So that was one thing.
Everything.
That was one thing I was gonna. They haven't did a stare down that I've seen. Have you seen? Is Paddy that much bigger? That could be a huge reason of why he's a favorite, because Paddy he cuts so much to get down there, man.
He does it. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, maybe he got his lifestyle a little bit under control, but when he first came in, he was Paddy the Paddy.
Yeah, Paddy the Fatty. He still say, like, you'll see at the post fight, he's eating a pizza. I'd rather be fat and happy than look at all these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, they got their washboard abs, but they're not happy. They're miserable.
Yeah, so when he's out of camp, he blows up. So I'm thinking maybe Paddy he just might have the size on him. If I had to make my official pick, I'm rolling with the books. Even though eye test says Michael Chandler is the better fighter, when you see the competition they fought, there's something. I'm not going against Vegas, man. They got him favored for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Chandler has fought the best of the best. And it's going to be, don't get it wrong, there's not going to be a Bobby Green or King Green where he's going to go in and shoot a naked takedown and get put to sleep. It's going to be a brawl, and they're going to go at it.
Yeah.
So this should, I think, in my view, be one of the top 2 fights because they are going to explode.
And the thing about, like, I was when you said it, like, you think Paddy, you think he's going to get it done right off the bat before we even started getting into the fight. My thing with Paddy is I don't see the wrestling, the takedowns. So if he wins by submission, it may be him clipping Chandler first, and then it goes to the ground, and then it'll be easy work once it gets to the ground because submission defense isn't Michael Chandler's strength. But somehow he's getting it done, man, and I could see it. I mean,
I'm thinking Paddy is going to. It's going to be a decision. I think it'll go 3 rounds. If Chandler doesn't get knocked out, I'm rooting for Chandler, but I could see Paddy doing enough to get a decision in the end. But I mean, it could go not a snooze fest decision because there's not going to be a snooze fest with any Michael Chandler fight.
No.
So, but there is going to be. I could see him getting clipped and knocked out, or wrestle to the end and not go out of decision.
I don't
do enough to win.
And I kind of
just enough to win.
See, I look at this fight enough. I don't see how Paddy wins a decision unless his stand-up skills are so impressive because
that's the point. He's never fought a good. I mean, King Green should have been a good stand-up fight. Yeah. Whatever happened, I don't know. He said if he took a dive. Yeah. King Green's gangster. I don't think he's going to do that. But I mean, he hasn't seen a good stand-up fight.
This is a big step.
And Chandler's not really a stand-up guy either. He doesn't have
he's a brawler.
He don't have crisp boxing. I mean, wrestling is his background. But I mean, he has the power.
He throws power hooks. Yeah. And everything's with power.
So I mean, But you're right. Paddy hasn't fought a clean technical striker that could compare, and he would have to. Oh, I have to try to take this guy down because I can't stand with him.
I don't see this fight going the distance. Every Michael Chandler fight, I bet the fight not to go the distance. The one fight that I was so pumped for and was like, throw the house on it was Oliveira and Chandler, and it went the distance.
I could admit it. He came back in the end. That was, but Oliveira knew what he had to do.
Yeah, he held on to his back and he just wrote him out. Yeah.
There's what I mean. There's times where you want to entertain people, but then hey, I got to win at the end of the day.
Right, because Oliveira was getting older. He can't take a loss.
Yeah.
Let's move on. My pick, Paddy Pimblett, probably Hart with Michael Chandler. Yours as well, correct?
Yeah. I'm going with Patty for the decision, but my heart's with Chandler.
Yeah. I'm going to say Patty Pimblett by ground and pound TKO. Somehow, some way. Yeah.
If Chandler's chin hangs out, so he could get caught and stunned. It's happened before.
And get him up against the cage, and then the power shots, and it only takes 3 or 4 fast ones, and the lights flicker, and before you know it, ref's jumping on him before he kills him.
Yeah.
So, main event time. Alex Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Volkanovski 26-8, Diego Lopez 26-6. The age difference is a little bit bigger than those fight accolades, but man, this is another coin flip fight. My heart's saying one, and my head's saying the other.
But didn't Lopez, wasn't he at a different weight class with his losses? I don't think he's lost.
He's when I looked at it, he only has 1 loss in the UFC, and it was in a Contender Series. He's came in, he's won 5 fights in a row since then. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he. You know what? He might have lost his first UFC fight, and then he's won 5 in a row. You know, and it's all been spectacular fashion, except for Dan Ige, and nobody knocks out Dan Ige.
No, that's $50K for a reason. That's another one.
Yeah, he's on the prelims. Dan Ige.
Yeah, he's at $50K because he's going to get $50,000 no matter what. He cut another one. He'll be here forever, not get cut because he's going to bring it every single time.
So how do you see the fight playing out, man? Because I can see multiple ways.
Man, I think if Volk can get to him, I think it's going to be Volkanovski
I think Volk got to put a pace on him.
He's got Volkanovski has better wrestling. And I think
that's
if
the key, in my opinion.
he can take him down and control him, standing up, I'm giving it to Lopez because he's a crisper striker. He's got better technical things.
Speed.
He's good on the ground. But I mean, Volkanovski, the pace of him, 5 rounds, just digging and digging and digging. I could see that's going to be my thoughts. There's not going to be any walkthrough. I think Volkanovski's going to have to take him down or just wear on him, grind on him.
So he fought Yair Rodriguez, Volk did, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And he clinicked him, just wrestled him to death. Ended up just ground and pounding him, looked nasty. He needs to have that similar approach. That's it. I think that's the key to the fight, man.
I don't think he does. Rodriguez is good. So he can, Lopez.
Yeah.
He can, his standing is great. He has good jiu-jitsu, but I mean, T said he couldn't put him to sleep with a triangle. He's not giving up, and I don't think he's not that good. So
So here's my question when it comes to Alexander Volkanovski. They say his chin's gone. I mean, he's got 3 knockouts in a row, right? 2 to Topuria, or 2 to Islam. Maybe he has 2 knockouts in a row. He got head kicked, Islam, and then Topuria put him to sleep. Is his chin gone, or is them just 2 guys that can knock out anybody in the planet? Where are we at with that?
I'm with you. That's a coin flip because it could be either way. I could see the chin could be gone, but I mean, they're knocking anybody.
They're knocking anybody. It's not just Volkanovski. They can knock anybody out, you know?
And it's tough. Man, I don't know.
When you see, he kind of took the Topuria fight quickly after getting knocked out, you know?
He should have waited. I mean, he should have waited. And I think that's why, going back, Stipe lost the first one to Cormier because he came back too fast from
getting knocked out by knockout.
I mean, you get knocked out, but he won a decision. But his face was didn't take enough time to heal his brain. But back on topic, it's again Volkanovski's taking some time off for him because he's just a complete work. There's no downtime for him. So the little bit of time he's taken off for him is enough to heal up, maybe, and he's not going up a weight class again. So you're thinking when he fought
Max?
No, when he fought Max, that was another one of great fights.
Volk? You talking about when he fought Islam?
When he fought Islam. I mean, he went up a weight class to fight him.
Yeah,
That's not, and you don't go up a weight class, but he thought, hey, I'm running this division, and he was for a
you don't beat Max Holloway 4 times to be a bum. You just don't.
But then when you go, there's weight classes for a reason, and he went up, and I don't think he should have went up. The first one was close, and the second one he made sure to stamp it out and put him to sleep.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And you just don't. There's weight classes where you don't go.
I could see this fight playing out one way. Lopez comes in, puts the pressure on Volk. Volk tries to get his wrestling game going. It doesn't work.
Gets caught.
Volk gets caught, knocked him out.
Yeah. Or Volk wrestled
Volk,
5 rounds.
cage, patience, pressure.
Opportunity when you get to him.
The lights start getting brighter. The 4th round comes along and Volk's not going to go away.
No,
I can see Lopez fading because this is another kind of pressure, man. It's a championship fight.
Yeah.
A guy's in your face the whole time. I could see one of my favorite bets on this card is -145 to take this fight not to go the distance because I could see Volk finishing Lopez just as much as I could see Diego Lopez knocking him out.
Boy, it'd be tough. I'm looking for betting wise. I would say Volkanovski can catch him, but
I'm looking at the wear and tear.
I think he's going to be doing. I mean, once he stands up and he sees that Lopez has good stand up, and he's going to try to take him down and just wear him out. Now, can he catch him maybe in submission? Yeah. Can he catch him on the ground? Maybe. But I can see Volk just grinding out.
But Volk's ground and pound is so heavy.
Oh, yeah. He's not,
so fast.
He's not laying a praying. He's going
right. And that's why I could see the 4th or 5th round, him just being overcome with it. Not like a clean, holy shit, Volk just knocked him out. Just
volume.
Yeah.
Volume is going to take over. I could see the ground and pound. Like you said, he's just not enough, and they stop it because he's going to be busted up, I think.
So this is where my head's at when it comes to prediction of the fight. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Alexander Volkanovski. Today, I'm on Lopez. Tomorrow, I'm on Lopez. Wait till I see the weigh-in. I still won't know Saturday night. I can't give you guys an official pick. If I have to, I'm picking Diego Lopez just because
Lopez has a big cut too. He's a big dude.
He is a big guy.
He has a huge cut to get down. I mean, we're talking 55. I don't mean not 55.
We're at 145, yeah.
So, I mean, he probably walks around 180, 190. Yeah. That's a big dude. You lose a lot of, it's tough to grind down that low. Oh, man,
I think the building's going to be all for Lopez, though.
Volk
does have a traveling, but I think it's going to be a home crowd for Lopez. I do. It's another fight. I'm going to root for Volk, but I think he's losing.
We're going to have to see, like you said, we're going to have to see how much the weight cut hurt Lopez and how he looks. You can see the eyes sunk in. He's going to be, they're professionals. He's going to be okay, but you can tell when people come to the scale and they're like,
oh, you'll be able to see if they're drawn out.
Yeah, okay. So it really took a lot out of him to get down there. Now, this fight's been announced for a while, so he's had a lot of time to cut smart, so he could have done it good. It's going to be, if he looks good,
on the scale, Diego Lopez.
Yeah, I think if he comes out, looks good, wasn't a severe cut, and screaming, you can see the way they talk after they make weight, and you see the way they talk before they rehydrate. You can tell.
You can tell if they're on wobbly legs.
If he's yelling and
you know
screaming,
what, though? Here's the thing. We won't be able to tell that much because they weigh in early.
Yeah,
remember?
That's the weigh-in.
You would have to see the early weigh-ins, not the ceremonial. Yeah, because they will walk out on shaky legs. You're correct, but they changed that now because we used to see them dying on them.
Yeah, it's going to be. But I'm thinking. My thought right now, what I would say, I think Volk decision 5 rounds because he's not going to get in. Can't get caught. But I think he's going to be too smart. That's where the experience is going to come into play. He's going to keep his distance. For as much as he can. Again, the guy that brings it all the time.
So your official prediction? You think Volk gets it done by decision?
Yeah, decision.
Okay, I hope you're right. I really do. I don't want to see Diego Lopez knock out Alexander Volkanovski. I just don't.
No, because we're talking like Chuck Liddell. Once you start seeing get knocked out like that, Chuck Liddell had too many knockouts, and then you see Rashad.
Yeah, and then their legacy just goes away, you know.
And he's not going to stop because he's an animal. He's going to think he can be fine, and he never stops. He just works.
But I think if he would lose this fight, and my official prediction is going to be Diego Lopez TKO. Saturday night, that might not be what I bet because this fight is all over the place, and so am I. If Lopez knocks out Volkanovski, I see Volkanovski just taking off the gloves because if he's not fighting for championships, what's he going to do?
There's nothing more to prove. He's not. Is he going to start back? He's not going to go down like Israel Adesanya.
No.
He's not. He wasn't fighting for a belt, and Imanov caught him.
Right.
He's just not. Islam or.
Imamov?
Yeah, he's one here. He knocked out. He put him to sleep, but he wasn't. It wasn't a title fight, so he wasn't focused on.
Yeah,
that's
right.
What he's fought
he's
for.
not locked in.
How many years is this title fight after title fight? A rematch where he lost, and it's tough when you're not up for that.
Yeah,
I mean, is Volk
you're
going
not,
to go down and?
he's not going to be like a Israel Adesanya and Volk.
There's talk. If you see, I don't know if you've seen Get Off House. There's talk where they're saying Israel's done. His coach is saying it's not. He's just done. There's not. What else has he got to prove?
Yeah, and that's why I say same thing with Volk. I agree. Once these guys, they're not just going to be gatekeepers, man. They're just not. They don't want to end up like that. I don't want them to end up like that.
No.
But I think to wrap this 314 talk up, I think the card is awesome. I think we're in for a treat. And as you can tell with our predictions and our talk about it, there's a lot of shit that could happen.
I'm not betting my house on any of these fights. I'm telling you that because they could go either way. We could be completely dead wrong on every pick because it's that close.
We're not going to be wrong on Silva. He's knocking Bryce Mitchell clear out cold.
Easy.
Right.
Make it look bad.
All right, so just to move on to the next segment, we're done with the UFC 314. We got a top 5. Top 5 fighters that's never won a championship. I'll let you start off with number 5.
Number 5 for me, there is I actually took notes for this one. So.
Good job.
My number, I don't have like your boy's little flip note thing.
Oh, yeah, a little, he has a piece of paper.
Yeah, a piece of paper, he scribbles stuff
Look at you in 2025.
Yeah. So my number 5 pick is the Diaz brothers. Nate and Nick both. They were both right there. The potential was there, but they want to smoke weed too much, and they're another one. They don't care. They're going to fight people, and they have just in the streets, the weigh-ins. They don't care. They're throwing beer bottles at you, cups, whatever. They are street brawlers, and they're not. They don't have the dedication.
The fight IQ's not the greatest.
Yeah, I mean they're brawlers. They're in immaculate shape. They how many like triathlons they would run.
Oh yeah,
beasts. And you look at them,
and they're world class jiu-jitsu. They're
pudgy
legit,
belly. You're like, this kid, and he's not. But I mean, he's a complete athlete. But they just didn't have dedication. I think.
The funny thing you bring that up is the Diaz brothers are my number 5. So I'm with you the whole way. Keep talking.
Did you?
Yeah, they're with me the whole way. The Diaz brothers.
All right. Next, I have Chael Sonnen.
Oh, I don't have him on my list, but he's definitely an honorable mention.
I'm not including any of the interim champs.
And no interim championships, no Bellator champions.
No. So
this is UFC champions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chael Sonnen was a heartbeat away from beating Anderson Silva, one of the biggest at the time, biggest upset ever.
It was amazing to watch. You see a guy that's unbeatable get dominated for 4.5 rounds, and then get a lucky triangle. I think you and I watched the fight together.
Yeah, it was over. It was giving him the
celebrating,
belt. Yeah. And then next year, like, oh, hold on, nope, he's got it locked up.
Yeah.
And he quit.
He had a run where he was. He was marketable because his talk was amazing.
And come to find out, he's been he said it himself. He's on more juice than Tropicana.
Yeah,
so he's one of the biggest juices there was. He's been suspended, but at that time he was that close. Now, would he have lost his rematch like he did if he would have won that fight?
Yeah,
Silva beats him to death.
Yeah.
But I mean, so he got his flashing pan, but he would have been champ. But he was that close and missed.
It was funny when he fought John Jones. He's like, I knew I was going to lose.
Yeah.
It wasn't even wow.
He said when he grabbed the hold, you know the same secret I know. They're both juiced up out of the room. He's like, oh, okay. You know the same secrets I do. They're both just juiced out of their mind.
Yeah, Chael Sonnen did not make my list, but he was on honorable mentions. So my number 4 is Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson, 32-15, legend in the sport, fought in Pride, fought in Bellator, was champs in other places. He had 3 title fights in the UFC. I think his last title fight was against Michael Bisping. Yeah. That was his last fight he lost. He was always a close to my heart fighter. Always had the American flag. Had that one punch, Hendo bomb.
No mouth, like he would never. I love it when they
very respectful.
Ultimate Fighter. He's like, Bisping would talk so much shit. He was like, I talk in the ring.
Yeah.
And he put him to sleep. And then through that last one, he was out cold.
Oh my God! One of the most memorable knockouts for us to watch. It was UFC 100, and he knocked him out, and then jumped down and hit him. And usually that's dirty. But everybody in the building knew that was justified because he was put through hell for 6 weeks.
Weeks and weeks and poking and prodding at him. And it was well deserved. The ref didn't get there in time because he was in. Bisping had a good pro. He was like, I didn't feel it. I was out.
Yeah, right. He wasn't there. Bisping, I've grown to love him throughout the years, but I hated him when he was younger. But Henderson, just real quick, he fought the who's who. He fought everybody. Rampage, Anderson Silva, the big heavyweight.
while we're at it,
Fedor. Oh, go ahead.
Hendo was my number 2 pick.
Oh,
on
nice.
my list. So
nice. So you love him more than I do.
Because if you just can't. I know we're not in it's UFC, but everything he did in Pride, the people he beat in Pride, it was just amazing. Like, and
I think a lot of the fights he lost in Pride was because he fought more than one guy.
And there was bigger guys all the time. Like, he would never fight anybody his size.
And he fought more than one. Them guys fought a couple times a night. You know?
It was just. So it was hard. But he was my number 2 for the
Very,
same
very
reason
cool,
you talked
man.
about.
Very cool.
That's my number 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Well, my number 3 is Vanderlei. Talk about.
He's not on mine.
He's not,
no.
Vanderlei's
no.
yours. Oh my goodness! But again, like I said, I'm going back to Pride. Again, like I said, I brought you into UFC. I was watching back then.
I seen Axe Murder when he was past his prime getting killed.
And we're not counting in Pride because that's not. He won so many Grand Prix in Pride.
Right.
And he was an animal. But again, the chin has an expiration date, and he took so many brawls. And
if anybody wanted to look him up on YouTube, all his fights are exciting as hell.
I mean, there was never a snoozer. He's coming. He's knocking you out, or you're knocking him out. There's no end to it. He's knocking a decision. Many people. That was but he was that close. Him and Rampage, I thought would be, but they were both. Rampage is still kind of good at the time, and Vanderlei still, when he had the surgery to take off all the scar tissue on his nose.
Yeah.
But it was just the time caught up with him too much. But he was close, but I don't think the potential was there. He just didn't actually.
Right, and he was one of those guys that didn't evolve with the times. He was just a Muay Thai master.
I'm coming in.
You know, my number 3. I bet you're gonna hate. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I think he's well deserving to be on the list. Uriah Faber.
I knew you were going to say that, and that was my number 1.
Oh man, I'm ruining your list. I'm ruining your list.
But because
so my number 1's gonna be different. I mean, obviously, but
you don't have Vanderlei, but
you have Uriah Faber. I'm shocked.
My number 1 because again, you can't the WEC. You can't count out. You can count it out, but he was so dominant in WEC. There was nobody. You mean finally that?
Well, I fucked up this top 5 because I got my 5 and you got jump ahead. You know that's.
Well, that's all right. Well, that's all right. I was just like,
go ahead and talk about it, man.
Just what you run because he's always been that guy. But again, he's another guy that's never fought a potato can, or tomato can. He is fighting the best of the best all the time. And I think where he went down was whenever he fought. Who was it? The leg kicks.
Jose Aldo.
Yeah, no. Who was the leg kick?
Jose Aldo. And WEC.
But who did the leg kicks? And it was in who had him like he quit for leg kicks.
Well, Jose Aldo, he couldn't walk back to the corner. They had to carry him.
Okay.
That was in WEC.
Maybe okay.
That was when he. That was. I mean, yeah, that was. He all had all these battles with Dominic Cruz, and he was so awesome. But then Aldo just kept kicking the leg, and he couldn't even get back to the stool, and I ended up calling it. Yeah.
I was wondering, but he's one. He was. You would think he had a title as many times he's been the face. I guess probably kept him in it longer than he should have.
We've seen him in Cleveland. He fought in Cleveland. Yeah. He's always been he was the ultimate gatekeeper. He was getting title fights, losing, but he was always fighting top guys.
And it's I mean, I don't like the
wild.
California pretty guy stuff, but he always every time he come out, every time the camera comes on, what does he do? Hi, Mom. Yeah. He says hi to his mom every time the camera hits him.
And I was never a fan of Uriah Faber.
No, me either.
But you gotta respect him, and that's wow. Maybe I disrespected him by putting him at 3. So your number 3 was Axe Murderer, right?
Yeah, my number 3 was Silva. Yeah.
Okay, who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Hendo.
Okay, so we got all yours right
all
now.
Mine.
Because I went out of order.
I got you.
Because I went out of order. I didn't have Chael and Axe Murderer. So we'll do my number 2. My number 2 is a fighter that's still on the roster, but he's not going to win a championship, and that's Dustin the Diamond Poirier, man. He's fought the who's who. He was an interim champ once. He's had multiple. I think he's what do I have him down? 0-3 in title fights in UFC. Yeah, he's had his chances, man.
That's why it sucks. He's not going to get another shot, but he's had more opportunities out there. But deserving. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah,
he's there.
I mean, he was close to beating Oliveira. Khabib, he was close to beating Khabib, man. He was in these fights. He just didn't get it done.
We're talking about Khabib's the best of the best. We would agree. I think my best ever, I would say, is Khabib.
That's crazy. I would love. I wouldn't say. There's an argument that GSP is the best ever. My heart says Khabib just because he dominated everybody, but he didn't have in my opinion, he needed more in the UFC.
He pulled out of a lot of fights. We never going to see it El Kukui in the prime whenever, him and Ferguson should have fought forever, and there was always an injury or somebody got hurt. Months
In
and
hindsight,
years.
though, he would have murdered Tony
yeah.
Ferguson, man.
But Ferguson
in his prime
was a different animal
yeah,
one
he was.
time. He could take those shots, and he would pull off these crazy elbows and the somersaults he would do. He was just a different, weird dude, but his in and out, it was just amazing what he could do.
But the fighters you look at that, Poirier lost to, Conor McGregor, Justin Gaethje, Khabib, he beat Max Holloway for the interim title. Max Holloway moving up, but that was a great fight.
Oh.
He's fought some killers. Dan Hooker, I remember watching that fight during COVID. It was a 5-round, a train wreck.
Oh.
And Dustin Poirier ended up winning on guts because he just gutted it out the 5th round, I have so much respect for Dustin the Diamond Poirier. It's a shame he's not going to win a belt. He's my number 2.
He lost it, but the potential was there. He had it, but again, you can't. Well, I was watching some prep for this, and you see who's the guy that lost to 125 all the time?
He's my number 1. Joe Benavidez.
Yeah,
that's my number 1.
So what he said, just in any other time frame on earth, he was a champion.
That's my number 1.
He fell into the wrong person. You couldn't beat Mighty Mouse. He's just
Joe Benavidez is my number 1.
Yeah.
0-6 in title fights.
He had every opportunity. He had the skill. There was no
2 against Mighty Mouse Johnson, the greatest 125er ever. 2 against Deviation Figueiredo. Lost. He lost to Dominic Cruz, and he lost to Askarov, which is 15-1. That was his last fight.
Yeah.
He's lost to the best of the best. And anybody else, he was knocking out, looking like a champ.
They said he was just in the wrong era where he came in. There was just not. He would have, if Mighty Mouse wasn't there, he'd have ran the 125.
That's so wild that how our list interchanged different numbers, but you brought up Joseph Benavidez before I could even give it a chance.
You knew it.
And it's just crazy. Those guys all those guys that we listed deserve to be champs. Is there anybody that we left off that you could think of off the top of your head?
Comment. I would say leave some comments if we missed any. I've seen a lot of people. They're putting Crow Cop and stuff. Crow Cop did his time and
I seen John Finch. I didn't think he was.
Yeah, Finch, get out of here.
Yeah,
he got cut. He was
somebody said Alistair Overeem, but Alistair Overeem was a heavyweight champion at one time. Didn't he beat Brock Lesnar? No. So he was never a champ.
Lesnar wasn't a champ when he beat him.
So Overeem was never a champ in the UFC. So he could have been an argument just because of his longevity and his. The accolades outside of the UFC because he was a K1
he was a
monster and he was in the Pride as well, and then he juiced up.
If you want to look up something, look up pre-1990s.
Overeem?
Yeah, Overeem, and then you'll see he was 180 pounds to turn into 240 pounds chiseled.
Chisel monster.
He's just, you see, I don't know, his head grew 5 sizes too. That happens natural when you're 60 years old. You see people, no, that's all natural.
I think the day of where we see these guys get these shots that we just said, 6 shots at titles, 4 shots, 3 shots, and losing. I don't know if we're going to see that because the times have evolved, and you can just see these up-and-comers. They'll go from non-ranked to a title shot in 2 fights, and you'll see a challenge contender gone in 3 fights. You just don't know.
Yeah, we're talking about that. We're just talking about the Japanese guy who just fought. His first fight came in over from.
Fought for the championship. Yeah, I can't think of his name offhand. He fought Pantoja.
Yeah, and Pantoja again. Like I said, he's the reason why Pantoja UFC is here and Ren's championships right here. There's leagues, there's levels of this stuff, and he made it look. Now, if you want to look pretty and do kind of flips and
but if Pantoja loses, that's a risky fight, man. You get a guy coming out of nowhere to get debuted.
Pantoja didn't care, but again, that weight class. He's running through everybody. We're getting to almost Mighty Mouse territory. How many people's left? The contenders are coming up.
Right,
he's going to have to.
So before we wrap this thing up, if you guys enjoy any of the segments you'd like to hear us talk about, give us some ideas. Give us a fighter you would love to hear us talk about, or some insight on some old fights, some up-and-coming contenders. We'll talk about anything.
Or what do you think we got wrong? What our opinions are?
Yeah, hammer us. Hammer us.
Trust me, I've been caught a lot worse. You could say, no, you got this completely wrong because of... And we'll listen. I've been wrong 100 times. It's not...
So we had a couple topics, but we're going to wrap it up. we have UFC 316 coming up, UFC 315 coming up. We'll save that for the next show. We're coming up. We're going to talk about Ronda Rousey. We have a whole spiel on how we're going to talk about her career, what she did to the UFC, and how it fell through and how it ended. Shame in that story. And I also want to talk about Conor McGregor, what he's done for the UFC, and when you pull back the layers, how good really is he as an MMA fighter. But right now, man, I think hour and 10 minutes, man. I think we're good.
But I like we had good topics, good conversation. I like it.
Oh shit.
There's never going to be a boring talk.
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead.
For a little audio, we'll edit this out whenever Haynes gets done.
Yeah.
We'll send us the editing.
Yep, sir. There won't be no goodbye on the show this week. Drop the remote. But as always, check out the platforms, man. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. You will see Boogie at least once a month doing this MMA show. And whenever I decide to kick Jason out, I'll bring him in on the Friday show as well. Check out Friday, Hainsey's Cave Talk. Unfortunately, I got a dress and a wig I got to wear. Till next time, thanks, Boogie.
All right, brother.
We're out, man.